What does it take to be truly heroic? It's having the strength and power to rise above the worst life throws at you, and using the lessons you've learned as tools to make the world a better place.
Life teaches you how to live it if you can last.
Meet a woman who drove through every roadblock in her path.
Your specific environment and specific situation can teach you so much about yourself, and it can motivate you.
Who is this modern hero?
I'm Patrice Banks, and this is my story.
Patrice is an engineer turned automotive technician who's on a mission to make over the male-dominated car repair industry.
We educate and empower women through their cars. I need hundreds and thousands of women, that want to do this.
Her desire to inspire other women began as a kid because she never had a female role model to look up to.
I had these big dreams of what I could do and what I could accomplish, and I didn't see people doing it. We lived in a Section 8 house. I was on welfare. My dad was not around, and my mom worked a lot of blue-collar jobs, and she wasn't educated. She wasn't an inspired woman to empower herself. She was inspired to find someone to love her and take care of her, and so she often got with the wrong people because of that, and so we were exposed to a lot of violence, sexual abuse and physical abuse as children. My mom and my sister were doing drugs, and I'd flush them down the toilet. I felt like that stuff was what led to the chaos. It's what led to the failure. It's what led to the disappointment and the pain, and I didn't want it. I'm like, get this away.
It makes so much sense hearing where you came from, why you are so passionate about empowering women.
Yeah. Being in those situations as a kid and feeling helpless, I was always wanted to escape. I just always knew that there was something else out there for me. And so that's what really drove me to say, I don't want to be like this. I want to be self-reliant. I want to be sufficient.
Patrice never let the struggles of her home life hold her back from where she knew she was destined to go. So she studied hard, signed herself up for sports leagues, and worked 3 jobs to buy herself a car.
We didn't have a car, so my mom wouldn't come to games, and I'd have to ask a friend if their parents could take me home, and I hated asking people. I didn't want to be a burden on anyone. And when you want something bad enough, you go and you get it. You figure out how to get it.
Despite the fact that no one in her family had ever gone to college, Patrice applied and was accepted to Lehigh University, where she majored in materials engineering. But as the only African-American female in the program, she felt she had to prove her worth.
I grew up around poor people who didn't have access to great education, and their parents didn't either, and they didn't value it as much. But I was surrounded by a lot of upper middle class and middle class white students where their parents valued education very young. And so it made me not feel good enough.
Did you believe you were smart?
No, I thought I was way behind. And so that motivated me more to kind of feel the responsibility of being the woman, the minority, of the smart one that shows that this is what you can be even though you grow up poor and black.
She beat out students from Stanford and MIT for an internship at DuPont, and ultimately was hired in 2002, kicking off a 12-year, 6-figure career. But despite her impressive climb, something was missing.
I didn't feel like I was making a difference. It was just coming to work, going to meetings, and it is this rat race, like going in a circle. And so it wasn't that I didn't make good money. I made really good money. It wasn't that I didn't like the people that I worked with. It wasn't that I wasn't doing challenging work. It was just that, what is this for? I didn't feel like it was my legacy.
Then one day, a simple Facebook post changed the course of her life.
I was like, my car needs an oil change, but I'm gonna go get a mani-pedi instead. And I did. I was an auto airhead. And so the guys were commenting on my status, this is why women shouldn't drive. You're gonna be stuck on the side of the road with a blown engine. Have the guy's gonna have to come save the day. And the girls on the status were like, at least she'll look cute when she's like thumbing it for a ride. Here I am, this engineer. I know how engines work. I know how this stuff performs and what causes it to fail.
And yet you didn't.
And yet I'm like, I'm not. I don't even want to hear it. I subscribe to that whole stereotype that I'm not going to get it. They're going to take advantage of me. It's going to be over my head.
When Patrice did a web search to find a female mechanic, the results shocked her.
I remember the first thing that popped up was the 10 top stock images of female mechanics.
The pinup girls.
Yeah, the girls with the
cars,
sexy
all
bikinis next to the cars. The second thing was, why aren't there more female mechanics? And so as I started looking into it more, I realized it's because there's not women who work in this industry.
And get this, women have more licenses than men and shell out over $200 billion annually on vehicle maintenance. Yet the automotive repair force is only 2% female.
Here your number one customer spends all this money, nobody looks like her, nobody talks like her, they don't get her, they don't understand her. So I was looking at that, like I could change the face of this industry.
So she dove in and enrolled in night classes to learn the ins and outs of automobiles.
I would go to work during the day and I'd go to school at night, and I'm nervous, I'm scared, and I'm not confident. I was the only girl, and I feel myself kind of asking the guys, can you help me? And just kind of stepping to the side and watching them do it. So I said to myself, why am I falling back? I was intimidated. I didn't want to feel like I wasn't good enough.
Was it like a fear of failure?
Yeah, it was like a fear of being exposed, of making the stereotype true. And when I realized that's what I was doing, I had to kind of fall back a little bit. This is not what you're here for, right? You're here on a mission. And if these people aren't going to help you, then they need to get out of your way.
Patrice juggled school, volunteering, and teaching workshops while working full-time at DuPont for 2 years. When she graduated in 2014, she was offered a job at a local shop making $600 a week and had a huge decision to make.
At the end of the day, it was like, yeah, I quit my 6-figure job that takes $600, but that was like the least riskiest thing I could have done. I could be 50 and being like, what have I done with my life? And that is a regret you don't want, you know? Because you can't get back time. You can always get back money. You can't get back time.
Patrice spent the next 3 years honing her skills. And all her hard work finally paid off when she opened the doors to Girls Auto Clinic in January of 2017. It's the nation's first ever service station and salon rolled into one. She even wrote a book called Girls Auto Clinic, Glove Box Guide.
There's nothing really like Girls Auto Clinic in the United States. I don't think cars, I think women. And what I can do to help make their lives easier when it comes to their cars.
It's amazing what you're doing for the field, but what you're doing for women is even greater.
You have to believe in some type of God or power or universe that says that this is just my destiny, this is what I'm here for.
When she looks back in the rearview mirror, Patrice has an interesting perspective about the roadblocks she overcame.
You have faced barrier after barrier throughout your entire life. How do you keep pushing through?
What else are we supposed to do? That's what life is. Because I do believe like the darkest and deepest, darkest things that you've seen, or the lowest of lows that you've had, only equate to like the highest you can go.
You really are a modern hero, because I think these young girls are gonna look up to you. So thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome. And I kind of think that maybe that's my calling, is being the modern hero. And it's not just about cars, it's just about how can I be the modern hero to people every day. We all kind of have a little hero in us.
Follow Modern Hero TV on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.